Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two Puerto Rican gold rums. This is Don Q Gold. This was introduced in 1865. That's how old this company is. 1865, glass handle bottle. I got a great deal on this at Dornex, $13.99. Can you believe it? Age 1.5 to 5 years. So it's a blend of rums, 1.5 to 5 years old. And it, just like both of these, it's one of the rums of Puerto Rico, the official trade group rums of Puerto Rico. Here is Bacardi Major Lazer. And this is the limited edition that was made in collaboration with a Caribbean music group, Major Lazer. Introduced in 2017, no longer produced and not listed on the website anymore. And so black and gold bottle. I've got a great deal on this one, $7.99 at Acuista Paces, $7.99. Crazy, right? From the famous #1 selling rum company in the world, Bacardi Limited. Bacardi. Okay. They both have metal caps. You got to watch these built-in pourers. They pour very well. It keeps the air from glugging, glug, glug, glug. It makes it a very smooth pour, but it'll come out so fast you'll pour too much. That's the problem with that. So a family legacy, it says on the back. And this is pretty common, so you should be able to find it at most stores. Now, Major Lazer, you're probably not going to find that because, like I say, it's out of production. I just stumbled across it at Acuista Pace. They had it on what they call a stud stack and out there on that floor display. And I was like, woof, $7.99, I'll buy it. Who knows how it'll be? Probably good. And as it turns out, it was. It was never intended to be a long-term rum, I don't believe. Just out there collaborating with Major Lazer. Well, I poured a little bit too much, but this one is gold, nearly amber. And this one is very light gold. Look, you see it's almost like straw. Doesn't look like any color was added to this one. Could have been. Doesn't look like it. So pale. Such a pale straw appearance. The Major Lazer, yeah, probably in color. So legally, we got a 1.5-year-old rum versus a 3-year-old rum. But they're telling you the range. 1.5 to 5 years and 3 to 4 years. But, in the legal sense, you always got to go with the youngest rum in the blend. So if somebody pin you down and say, how old is this rum in a legal sense? 1.5 years old. But you see, those numbers can be deceptive. You might get a whiskey that's 2 years old. You say, but that's so young, 2 years. Yeah, but it could be a blend of 2, 3, 7, 10-year-old whiskeys. But since the 2-year-old whiskey is the youngest one in there, they have to call it a 2-year-old whiskey. And I have a perfect example of that one. I have the Virginia Black. It's a blend of 2, 3, and 4-year-old bourbons. 2-year-old bourbon, 3-year-old bourbon, and 4-year-old bourbon. But it says on the back of the bottle, this whiskey is 2 years old. See what I'm saying? All right. Now, when I did Bacardi Gold versus Don Q, I got it wrong yesterday. And the reason was oh, no, never mind. I'm thinking of Seagram's 83. But I got this wrong, too, because I thought I got the Bacardi Gold and the Don Q Gold wrong because the one with the richer, more sugary, pronounced aroma and flavor I thought was the Bacardi. But as it turns out, it was the Don Q. So I said, I got to remember that. Richer flavor, Don Q. Sweeter. You might prefer a drier product. I can understand that. Okay. Smell like sweet, mild, light molasses, sugar. A little cane, like the grass, because sugar cane is a grass. Very similar to bamboo, except it's full of juice, sugar. This smells drier, and maybe a darker roasted charcoal. A dark charcoal note, which is making me think the Major Lazer. Let's go with the taste. Yeah. Sugar sweetness, mild charcoal char, mild white oak, grass from the sugar cane stalks, and mostly dry finish. These things are so highly filtered, they're not going to have any sediment in them. They drip them through a combination of charcoal, a secret blend of charcoals. What kind of charcoal? We don't know. Sugar maple, birch, beech, oak. I don't know. Nor will I ever know, unless I work for Bacardi and become their CEO, and then they give me the secret recipe for their various charcoal blends, which won't happen because I have no interest in working for them. This is more yeasty. This is yeastier, I guess is the word, right? Or is it more yeasty? I think it's yeastier. This is a yeastier product. Not as sweet, not as sugary. Must be the Bacardi. That must be the Don Q. Well, it's hard, boy. These are hard. Now, some people, and the reason I started blind taste tests is people I've heard over the years will say, "Oh, I know my Coors Light. I know my Jack Daniels, or whatever the product is. I know. I say, but you ever did a blind taste test? Well, no, I haven't. They'll say, I haven't done that. Or I ain't never did that. And I say, well, how do you know? How can you say you know without testing it? You'd have to test it. If somebody said, I know a lot about World War II, well, they can claim that, but then you could test them and say, well, let's take a test. In what country was the Normandy invasion, the Normandy landing? Now, if they said, well, I don't know, I never heard of that, then you'd think to yourself, I don't think this person knows too much about World War II. They claim. Now, if they said, well, obviously it was in northern France and the beaches were the American beaches, Omaha and Utah, and the British Commonwealth, British and Canadian beaches were Gold, Sword, and Juno, and they start naming all the commanders, you'd say, oh, yeah, okay. It seemed like they know. So, but the proof has to be evidenced, not claimed. And I don't claim to know any of these that well, honestly. So that's my defense. You understand? I'm not saying, oh yeah, I know my Bacardi, or I know my this and that. Now, Bacardi does seem to have a higher level of quality, higher quality level. So when I go up against stuff like, Clubhouse and Ron Pontalba and Skull, yeah, those don't usually seem to hold up so well. They're not bad on their own. The Skull light gold is light and kind of a dry gold, and but it's a little washed out. Doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. It has some, and the flavor it has is nice and mellow, but they just don't seem to have the power and the presence, I should say, of the Bacardi. But then why should they? They half the price. That's why you don't see them on the shelf when you go to a bar. If you look over the counter, look down where they're pulling from to make your exorbitantly expensive cocktails, yeah, then you might see Skull Light Gold. More than likely, you will see it. Yeah, this one does have some sweetness. Now it's starting to breathe. Like if it after it breathed, it's starting to bring out some sweetness. And man, and I don't know the exact differences between Major Lazer and regular Bacardi Gold, but it seemed like Major Lazer use a darker char barrel thing and maybe well, it's longer age or something like that. It's not. It might be a Major Lazer collaboration, but it's not a major difference. But it is a somewhat of a difference. Now, which of these do I prefer? Well, since you asked, actually I asked. And that one over there smelled like that Bacardi yeast, but that's so difficult to really say. I prefer both. $7.99 versus $13.99 for the handle. So the Don Q is a little cheaper per ounce, but that makes sense because it's a cheaper product. Generally, a little cheaper product. Now, when we start talking about their ultra above premium portfolio, their super expensive line, well, then the line gets blurred, you see, because you might find some of these Don Qs for $300, and you might find some of these super Bacardi, high level Bacardis for $300. So I don't know how that would work out as far as comparison and contrasting. Probably be very interesting. I was overhearing somebody tell a store manager yesterday. I was walking in a store and I heard him, obviously a salesman for a liquor company, a liquor distributor, saying, "Hey, look, we got this Crown Royal 25-year coming in." I thought to myself, 25-year? He said it's going to go for about $300. And that's all I heard. I'm thinking, $300. That's a lot of money to lay down for a Canadian blended whiskey. But on the other hand, it is aged 25 years. They started barreling it in 1997 and in anticipation of 2022. Now, I don't really know if that was the case. They might have just put it in barrels in 97 saying, well, one day we'll use this for something. And then they got the idea maybe earlier this year. You know what? We got those barrels over there. We could bottle them and have Crown Royal 25-year age. Oh, yes, we could sell it for a lot of money and so forth. So I don't know really the story behind it, but it's very interesting. Will I ever buy one? I don't see that happening. You say, what if somebody gives you one? I'll try it and I'll drink it all. I'll share it a little bit. All right. Anyway, just kidding. I'll share it, but not too much. This is a really tough challenge. You say that's why it's called a challenge. Yeah, but some challenges are not so challenging. And this one is. Man, they're both really good. So we have an approach conflict right now, meaning, yeah, it's a conflict. We have to choose. But they're both high quality, so they both win on quality. Now, we have to see if we can tell them apart is what I mean. But either choice you make is a winner. So that's really a double approach conflict. Well, no, there's no such thing. It's an approach conflict. Sorry, an approach conflict. Meaning either choice you make is positive and there's no downside. The price is the same, basically. The enjoyment level is the same, and the quality is the same, meaning very good, excellent. So that's what we call an approach conflict. You're forced to choose, but either choice has no downside and only upside. It's a 100% positive choice. So that's the case here, and we love those kind of conflicts. Our favorite type of conflict is the approach conflict. because you can't lose. You can't lose. You already won the prize. Would you like the new Toyota Camry or the new Honda Accord? You can only have one, but choose. And you say, well, I'll win both ways. Right. Okay, so I'm going to say this is the Don Q, and I don't say that with any sort of confidence, but I'm thinking maybe it is. I should call it a tie, but I'm gonna risk it, and I think this is the Don Q. And it is. Woo. That was tough. But I would think that my record, but when I finish this taste challenge series, if I'm at 75%, I'd be shocked. I don't think it'll be that high, but does that mean Don Q Gold doesn't stand out? I don't think it really means that. It just means that there's so many good gold rums that it's hard for anything to stand out, in my experience. And you can say, oh yeah, well, you got a bunch of cheap ones. I do. I really do. And they're really good. So that's another benefit. Do you have to pay an exorbitant price to get a really good rum? No. Evidence shows, my experience shows that you don't have to at all. Even the really even the highfalutin ones I got half price. I don't know why Walmart sold the $70 gift case, holiday gift case for $35, but I didn't complain. I got a $40 rum for $20, and I got a $30 rum for $15. And the wooden case with the glass front and the brass snaps. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to give it away for over half price, sure, I'll take it. I did that yesterday. I got Alberta Premium 100% Canadian rye whiskey yesterday, full-size bottle, 47% discount. Yeah, no, let me retract it. 40% off. 40% off. Couldn't pass it up. You know what I mean? I could have, but I wasn't going to. And then I got the Nelson's Greenbrier whiskey, Tennessee whiskey, a new product. They claim it goes back to 1860, and it might, but it's a new resurrected product. It has really not really much of a relationship to the original, although the company is going to claim it does. But whatever the case is, 53% discount. No, I'm backwards. 47. I paid 53% of the price, 47% discount. So I paid only 53% of the full price. And I got it for $14.99. So both bottles, $14.99. Was I in a real rush to get the Greenbrier? I wasn't in a rush at all. I wasn't probably ever going to buy it. Although it's a beautiful label. If you saw my bourbon backstock, you'd realize why I had no interest in buying any more bourbon. But for that, when you see them 40 to 50% off, and you're a guy like myself and do all these taste challenges and have an interest in it, then you can't resist. You know, you can't. Well, I can't. I mean, if I had no money and I had bills to pay and so forth, oh yeah, I mean, I would resist, obviously. I'm gonna have my priorities straight there. But I mean, if I have the money and I see the deal, I'm taking the deal. I'm just going to do it. I'm telling you now, I'm going to do it. So will other deals come up in the future? I don't know that, but it seems like it will happen since it's been happening for 5 straight years in a continuous series of events. I keep running across one great deal after the other. And so I don't know what it means to pay full price for liquor. What does that mean? What is that like when you pay full price for liquor? Does that feel good, or is it a strange feeling? Because I've been getting everything for 50% off or worse or better. All right, thanks everybody. So the winner, no winner. I'm the winner because I could tell them apart barely, but they're both winners. So if you ever party Major Lazer, you know, one of the old bottles left over, immediately buy it. And if you see it for $7.99, buy 2. I wish I had. Don Q Gold, if you ever see it, buy it. If you see it on deep discount like I did for $13.99, you gotta get it. You gotta buy 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 it. Now, Friday, we got Fandango Friday liquor or liqueurs. I don't know what's coming out the party bucket. I haven't pulled yet. We'll see. I got 19 bottles. Maybe it'll be Southern Comfort Black. Be interesting. But I do plan to do a taste challenge for Friday. Don Q Gold versus Bacardi 8-year-old. Well, you've done a good job so far, Don Q, but you don't have a chance against Bacardi 8-year. That's not, that's going to be a wipeout. But to be fair, that would make sense. I mean, that's a mismatch. So, but we're going to still do it just to see. But get ready for a bad outcome. And then we got the Don Q Gold on Saturday. Don Q Gold versus Bacardi 10-year age Grand Reserve of Diaz. Well, that'll be a fiasco. And then once we get off of that, then we'll be back. Well, let's see. No, it won't have a chance against Appleton Estate. No, Appleton Estate's going to like my father would say, it's going to get swashbuckled. I don't know why he says that, but they got swashbuckled. It's going to get swashbuckled. And now all the other gold rums I have, yeah, it'll be a real challenge. It'll be quite an effort. But these next three is going to be no effort. Believe me. Believe me, you. Believe you, me. Thank you. Y'all take care now.